This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
Particular day, 2 agents paid him a visit at his home out of state. The guy seemed to be completely surprised by their presence there, and when they told him what had happened, he proceeded to vomit on his floor. At that point, they knew he had no idea what had gone down. At least, that's how I heard the story. When we tried to track down the hunter I'm speaking of, he had passed away from cancer. There's one more story that'll never be told with all the proper details. Thankfully, we were able to get these stories, and you'll be able to hear them, straight from the people who were most closely involved. Sometimes, oftentimes, all by themselves. You're going to hear stories about quick thinking. You're going to hear stories about heroes. You're going to hear stories that are going to, at times, make you laugh a little bit. I think you're going to come away inspired. You're going to be entertained. And it's my hope, my expectation really, that you're going to come away from this more prepared and feeling more competent should you ever wind up in a situation where you're having your own close call. Briar Creek by Clay Newcomb. I'm buddies with Clay Newcomb, and I got a lot of respect for him in a lot of different ways, meaning I respect him as a hunter. I have a lot of respect for him as a husband and father, for the way he truly honors his family. I have a lot of respect for him as a storyteller, because he's a master of translating and explaining the people and culture of backwoods Arkansas. One of the things I like about Clay is that he and I grew up in a very similar fashion, though we did so in, different parts of the country. I was from Western Michigan. He was from Arkansas. But we probably would have been real good buddies even as little kids. One of the things we both enjoyed doing was just dumb shit. When I think about doing dumb stuff as a kid, I can never decide, is it that you don't think you're going to die or you don't care if you die? I used to think it was that you felt that you were invulnerable, right? And you didn't think you were going to die. The kind of dumb stuff we did as kids would have probably appealed to Clay. We would take cattails and soak them in gas, light them on fire, and run around at night calling them torches. We built flamethrowers with weed sprayers. We would tie ski ropes onto truck bumpers when the road's real icy in the winter, and then put on one-piece Carhartt suits and body surf all over the place. I remember we had a thing called Senior Skip Day, where everybody would go canoeing. And I remember coming around the corner and finding a friend of mine, Aaron, I'll not say his last name, passed out face down in the river. And I just happened to come around the bend at the right time to drag him out. And he spent a couple days in a hospital. When I review the main close calls I had as a kid, I would say just like the preponderance of them involved water. And a lot of them involved canoes. Growing up in Michigan, we always learned about the French voyageurs who would ply the Great Lakes in their long birch bark canoes trading furs. And we would run those same rivers in canoes. We'd run them when they were flooded. We'd run them when they were low in the summer. One of the things about running big swollen rivers is you look at it, and the first thing that you're blown away by is the volume of water. I was recently looking at the swollen Yellowstone River with my kids, and we got to talking about how that river was running at 30,000 CFS, cubic feet per second. And I was trying to explain to them that a way to picture that water is to imagine 30,000 soccer balls going past them in 1 second and what that might look like. That's the water. But the thing about swollen rivers is it's not really the water that's the problem. It's the stuff that's in the water that's the problem. You have trees leaning out over the water called sweepers or strainers, meaning they grab things that are going by. You have rocks that are in the current that aren't normally in the current. You have trees and stumps and other debris coming down the river with you. And then there's just the